Shalom. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule as well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ayman. The title of this video is Yahweh's Wrath Against Nations, Part 2. Right, in Salakia, the last video, my Wi-Fi died, and then I plugged it back up, and I thought the sound was there, but it was not. So I'm just finishing off of what I said from Part 1. So we're going to Isaiah 32. Isaiah 34, I left off in Joel 3. So now I went directly to Isaiah 34 after that to read it. It says Yahweh's wrath against nations. It says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai." Let me say it again. I was watching other parts of the heart today, He said the same thing. I just thought about it. Anyway, it says for the indignation of the Shalom, shout out to other parts of the heart. Is for the indignation of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashah is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them, he have delivered them to the slaughter. Right? Pretty much through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Awashah, this has already taken place. It has already been written. Matter of fact, Salaki, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this because I don't I don't want to say the same thing over again, but I know when I went over it, I pointed out. Read this again. Oh, it was a second Ezra chapter 15. Right, I don't think I actually went there. That was a Salaki. Like I said, I'm just trying to remember what I said. But when I read this, I said, "For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations," and it's for the edification of the elect. Through the Spirit, whatever it fed me, I'm just trying to feed it back to you because you wasn't able to hear it. Right? It says, "For the indignation, right, which is righteous anger of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and His fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter." And I pretty much quoted Second Ezra, and I'll grab it, chapter 15, because it's written because it's faithful and true. These things are already taking place, right? I also pointed out that the prophets, prophesying, right? And prophecy means to say before, you know, and that's exactly what's happening. So this is second. Okay, it didn't go to it. Second Ezra 15. And I started verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy," right? Which means to say before. It says, "Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai." I believe it's prophet. Slakim. I believe it's prophet. Let me look it up. Because I'm fighting it in my mind, Anyway, prophecy. Why? So prophet means to say before. Okay. And we'll get it in the blue letter. So it's in there. I guess I'll look it up real quick. Let me get Luke. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Before they got before there. So prophet means to say before, right? To say before. Okay? We play this word here.
Strong's G 4396. Prophetes. Prophetes.
Okay, we have the Old Testament prophets having foretold the kingdom, right? Foretold. All right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'll go over it in my own time or whatnot. But back to the lesson. I was in Second Ezra chapter 15 in verse 1. I'll start it from the beginning again. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." Right, and that's what I wanted to bring out. The words written in his Bible are faithful and true, right? And they have already taken place, right? We're just, proclaiming the things that will happen, but the Lord, this thing has already taken place. That's why it's reading how it's reading. I'll read it again. Isaiah 34:1. It says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." Right. So this is already going to happen. And in times past, what the prophets seen visions of these things already taking place, of things that's going to be already happening in the future. Right. When you think about the missiles, the nuclear missiles that they seen, they've seen these visions of these missiles doing the things that they wrote down. Right. So it had already happened. Okay, it says, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." It says, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree." Right? Ultimately, this is talking about nuclear destruction. This is Malachi 4. And, 1, it says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." Right? So pretty much what's going to cause that day to burn like an oven is those nuclear missiles, right? Which will be, which will hit Babylon the Great, right? Which is America, and also the land of Israel. Right? It says, Isaiah 34:5, it says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." Right? Esau, even the so-called wicked. It says, "The sword of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood." Matter of fact, Slakia, Idumea, right, is going to Edom. Let me see where this is at. Right here. Okay. Okay, so Edom, it says, verse 6, "The sword of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." Right? And Basra is an ancient city, a capital ancient city in Edom, right? Which is the land of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Right? Basra in the Bible says, Basra is a name of 2 cities in the Bible, one in Edom and one in Moab, right? But it says here, Basra was the capital of Edom and a city in Moab. So the capital of Edom was Basra, right? And that's, in reference to the so-called white man in the Bible. That's what it's saying when it says Basra there. You can grab, which we could grab right now, Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63:1, it says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra, that this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save." Right? And as you can see, the title there says Yahweh's vengeance on the nations, right? Pretty much going in the line with what we were talking about in this lesson. right, through the Spirit. It says, right, and this is talking about Yahweh Shai. That's the person that's coming from even with dyed garments from Basra, right? It says, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth up in the wine fat, right? And pretty much, Yahweh Shai is coming to destroy. There's going to be blood all over the place to, destroying these nations. But he himself will be clean, right? No blood there or anything like that. This is, just the amount of death that he's doing. That's what it's speaking about. It says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there is none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come, right? For the controversy of Zion. It says, and I looked, and there was none to help. I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, in my fury it upheld me. It says, I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. Right? So, Yahweh Bashmi is going to come, right? Yahweh is going to come, right? And he's going to do this. The scriptures say in Zephaniah 3 and 8, going to 9, that we're supposed to wait upon him, right? Until he makes the enemy a prey, and basically there's no righteous judgment being brought forth, right? So Yahweh Shalom is about to come and handle that and fix that problem right there. Okay. So going back to where it was at, Isaiah 34, it says in Isaiah 34, and I'll start back at 6. It says, the sword of the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel shall filled with blood, it is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel shall have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with the fattens, right? And this is just talking about, top veterans and things like that, right? And we'll get in the NLT after this. It says, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, right? The Lord being Yahweh, in the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. All right, so the Most High Yahweh is visiting this place because of what they did to the Israelites. I'm gonna grab this NLT and read that. Sorry, verse 6. Isaiah 34 and 6. The sword of the Lord Yahweh, Bashmiel Shai, is drenched with blood and covered with fat, with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of rams prepared for sacrifice. Yes, the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shai will offer a sacrifice in the city of Basra. He will make a mighty slaughter in Edom. Even a man as strong as wild oxen will die, the young men alongside the veterans. The land will be soaked with blood, the soil enriched with fat, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, right? For it's the day of the Lord's revenge, the year when Edom will be paid back for all they did to Israel, right? And not only Edom, all nations, right? But especially Edom. All right, so Lord, when you edify from the lesson, I'll say shalom to the whole elect, which consists of men, women, and children, shalom.